At standards, we have a large, severe storm marching through Leflore County right now, coming into Poteau as we speak. We've seen that shelf cloud. This thing is rotating as well. We've been watching some of these sky cams. I'm going to bring up the sky cam in for a second, but for now, as we get all our live streams ready, I wanted to keep up the radar there on the right-hand side of your screen. The severe thunderstorm warning continues for Leflore. Of course, it includes Poteau, it includes Wister, Lake Wister, Heavener, south to Howell. Cameron, you're included. Monroe, you're included. And then just outside of Tallahena, we're also included on this storm. This storm has a history of dropping tennis ball-sized hail. That will knock out a windshield. But damaging hail coming into, of course, Leflore County. This is now wrapping up for us in Callington. Spiro, Panama, we're starting to wrap up, but this thing is coming right towards Kavanaugh Hill, especially the western slopes of Kavanaugh Hill. So as you're wrapping around past that, past the Leflore County Fairgrounds there, and you keep kind of headed towards the south and west as you're wrapping towards Lake Wister, that's where we have the strongest hail, the biggest hail coming in right now. So we're getting all our live streams ready. Be with you guys in just a quick moment. But it's been a stormy day, but hopefully this will be one of our last storms. But now it looks like we got a new storm popping up there in Adair County. So we may not be done yet, but we'll see if it can get going. All right, let me take you live outside. This is a outside look in Pensacola. I'm going to zoom in this camera. You see Kavanaugh Hill. You see the storm coming right in on the hill, just bearing down on it right now. They're on the northern slopes as you're coming in towards that Choctaw Travel Plaza and then to the Walmart Supercenter. It's going to be headed right into downtown Poteau towards the high school and then back towards downtown Poteau itself, eventually hitting Carl Albert and then south into the fairgrounds as you go on the other side of Kavanaugh Hill. But this is a monster storm producing some good-sized hail. So let's go ahead and track this storm. We'll go ahead and zoom in just a bit. It looks like the worst of it is going to be on the western slopes of Kavanaugh Hill, coming right over the top where you've got all those towers blinking all the time, and then back towards the west. At Poteau, we're still getting a lot. We're getting a lot of heavy rain closing in around town right now. Let's take a look at the hail pocket. Large hail right over the hill, but notice how a lot of it is over the hill itself. We may still get some of the hail there on some of the eastern ridges there on Kavanaugh itself, but then most of it is off the bypass. Most of it is actually just over the hill too, coming into Kennedy, Walls. We're headed right towards Wister though. This is headed right into 271 once you hit Victor, Braidwood, Caston, Wister. This is coming right towards the lake. Glendale as well, Independence, how we could get clip 2. I'm gonna put the track on for the past 15 minutes. You see that pink color? When you get that pink, man, we had large hail in Pecoshi. Just missed us in Callington. We got some hail in Callington, but the largest part of the hail is really for us in Pecoshi, northbound towards the Kerr Dam there, right towards Sadie, Brent, and Harrison, right off of 59 there as you cross the Arkansas River. But the hail pocket is right over the hill, dead center of the hill, coming into Kennedy, Wister, Squirrels. We also have some rotation on this storm too. Just a broad rotation right now over Calhoun. I mean, that's right over the hill. That road there is going up towards the top as you have those towers as maintenance crews go up there. Dog Creek, Bedwell, Milton, Panama, Coal Creek, Poteau, Yerby, and Wister. That's where we have this rotation. It's right over the hill. This is going to continue to move towards the south. Once again, a live look towards our camera as this thing closes in on the hill. Boy, there's a lot of heavy rain, but the hail and that rotation, those two put together are our main threats. But closing in right on the hill is basically almost eating the hill. You can see as it disappears there. But the northern slopes completely inundated. The eastern slopes there in downtown Poteau, now we're getting that rain as well. And then moving south, eventually it's going to come in towards Ron's Lumber, headed there towards the Ford dealership on the south side of town, coming into the fairgrounds, and continue to head south on 59 as you head towards Heavener right now. Let's expand the view, though. We'll talk about other storms that we have ongoing at the moment. We had a large storm, but look how it just dissipated as soon as it crossed to Fort Smith. Fort Smith hasn't been too bad today, I'll be honest. We've had storms surround us. We had one just on the eastern side of Van Buren. It really hit us hard in Alma and Kibler with that hail earlier. Of course, we just got missed by the storm that's in Leflore County. New severe thunderstorm warning going out as they continue to trim it. This continues to until 6:45. This one's moving 30 miles per hour towards the south, but this includes Poteau, Wister, includes the Heavener Runestone State Park, love it up there, Shady Point, Summerfield, Heavener, Howell, Lake Wister State Park, and Hodgen. I'll time this out. Let's put the track, remember 30 miles per hour. Update these systems. Right over Poteau. This is head towards Wister about 6:08. So here, basically a minute. It's coming down now the slopes, and it's going to be coming over Lake Wister at any time. Heavener, 6:22. Zoe, 6:37. Black Fork, 6:46. And then Mountain Fork there, actually just south of Scott County, just about 7 o'clock. So this thing's chugging along. Poteau is almost not visible on our cameras anymore. This thing's really closing in. You're going to see some couple flashes. It's harder to see these flashes during the day. At night, of course, this thing would just be lit up. All you would see is lightning, essentially. But temperatures have been warm in Poteau. Guys, we were in the low 90s earlier today, and now the storm is just ingesting some of that heat as it continues to press towards the south. I'm going to head back to radar. We still have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect. You see that reissuing of the warning, how it's blinking there as they continue to trim it up. But back towards the north and west, there's another storm. You see this? There's another storm that's right over or coming into the Kerr Dam again. We just got hit over the Kerr Dam. This is over Tamaha, just south of Vian. Sallisaw, we could get skimmed by this storm. This one may also be producing some hail too. I know the hail tracks are messy. Look how much hail we've had coming into Leflore. That hail is over the hill. Hopefully it just stays just outside of Poteau, but the more it stays outside of Poteau, the more it's coming right into Wister. So Victor and Wister, they're along 271. Fanshawe, we should be just west enough that maybe this stays away from us. But once again, reissuing that severe thunderstorm warning. Look how long the path of the hail was, all the way back towards the Kerr Dam. So let me take the tracks off, and we'll only look at our current hail cores right now and we'll put them in motion. The one towards the north is starting to weaken a little bit. See this one? This is right over the Kerr Dam. You see the lake there, right there along the Arkansas River as they've dammed it up. Keota, McCurtain, they're in Haskell County. We're about to get some hail, but the largest hail reports over the hill, coming into Wister, and Heavener too. I'll bring up the velocity. That shows you the wind speeds and the rotation. This thing is spinning. This thing is spinning right over those eastern slopes of Kavanaugh Hill. We'll probably see that wall cloud right over us. You may even see the clouds kind of rotating above you there in pirate country. But you guys in Wister, be on the lookout. It's coming in right now. You probably don't have any time to bring in the vehicle anymore. That rain's coming in, that hail's coming in now as we speak. But if you live in Heavener, Howe, there towards Glendale, Independence, Reacher, Conser, Hodgen, it might be a good idea to, if you have some room, bring in the car. But this storm has been rotating for a while. It's been a broad rotation, but it's still a pretty good rotation as it's marching south. No longer can I see Kavanaugh Hill. Kavanaugh Hill is gone. We're looking at the perspective coming in from Bacola. They're from the Choctaw Casino before you come into Fort Smith. But Fort Smith, we're fine. We had a storm coming in, but this is the storm that ate up most of the energy. So storms like to try to take in as much of the warmth and humidity around them as they can. And that's exactly what the storm has done. Now it just looks like a gray map, but that is very heavy rain. And the reason why you can't see the hill is because there's so many hailstones falling and raindrops that are falling in between the camera and the hill itself that it completely blocks your view. Now sitting at 75 in Poteau. Many storms back off towards the west too. These are coming into Lake Eufaula, McAllister. This is even a bigger storm now. The storm in Poteau has slowly reduced its size, but it's still pretty potent. But it's right over the hill. Now it's mostly heavy rain and some smaller hail over downtown Poteau, while Kennedy continues to get there on the very southern slopes of Kavanaugh. Some larger hail and a lot of lightning. It is loud for us in central Leflore County. I mean, this storm itself has, let's count the strikes, just under 200 lightning strikes here in the past 15 minutes. I mean, that's fast. I mean, you're talking 100 lightning strikes per about 10 minutes or so. But the storm continues to press south and east. If we go ahead and put the track back on this, it's moving still south and east about 30 miles per hour. Heavener about 626. So this is coming right in towards you guys. Wister, it's closing in right over the lake. Lake Wister State Park too. The rain's right over us. I'm going to put back the hail track for us too. Look how expansive that hail's been. I mean, we've had, Bruce, you said about tennis ball sized hail earlier. Is that what they had?
Yeah, the biggest they've seen.
So we've had up to tennis ball sized hail, especially where you see that pink. Where we've had it on and off since the Kerr Reservoir, headed south into Koshi, and now that hail is right over Kavanaugh Hill, coming into Wister and Howe and Heavener right now. Velocity, Still continues to show some rotation, although it has started to broaden out a little bit. A lot of lightning, though. A lot of lightning. Just about 200 lightning strikes in the past 15 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and bring back... yeah, that sounds good. I'm going to go ahead and bring back a wide view. We've been watching a couple more cells back towards the north. There's another boundary that's coming in right over Benton County into Delaware and Adair counties and back towards Tulsa. Not exactly sure at this moment how much they'll be able to explode. It looks like that cell, though, that's just west of Siloam Springs, it's trying to grow pretty nicely. We'll see if it continues to grow. What's happened is we've used a lot of energy, but guess what? You guys know the sun has come back out. And so now we're trying to pop up more storms. Here in a second, I'll go ahead and bring up the cell there coming in from Siloam Springs, and then we'll go right back to the storm that is hitting us in Leflore County. Live look in Springdale. There you see right dead center screen. That's a new cell that's popping up along a new boundary. It's got a lot of crisp cumulus clouds to it, towering cumulus clouds. That shows you a storm that is strengthening. And you see that sunlight there in the background. It's trying to heat this storm up, trying to get this thing to get going. So that's something we got to watch. This should avoid us in Springdale and most of the metros of Northwest Arkansas. But eventually this thing will probably start to dive south and could try to impact later on into the River Valley. But there's that storm that's coming into Watts and Siloam Springs. Westville, you're next. Here in about 5 minutes, that new storm is popping in towards us. But let's go ahead and go back to the storms we have in southern Sequoia and then right into Leflore. Wister, we're about to get, we're coming dead center towards Wister with this hail. Most of this from the bypass and then onto the hill. You guys out there, closer to the Poteau River, we may get some pea-sized hail, but most of the hail is on the, Whittyville up there on the hill. You've got a Caldwell Drive and Windcrest Circle, Widow Falls Lane, and Polk Creek. Right there is where we've got some of that hail. But still, severe thunderstorm warning continues. Let's see, till 6:45, exactly 30 minutes for this storm. We've got up to 2-inch sized hail reporting, and wind speeds up to about 20 miles per hour. Let's get you the latest on some of these hail sizes, though. Go ahead and click around some of this. Yep, right there at that 2-inch mark is what's reporting over the hill coming into Wister. But they're crossing 270, headed south, and there's the lake. So, you got those boat launches there, right, that peninsula there with the campgrounds. That's headed right towards you guys. Eagle View Road, and I forgot the road that it's called. I'm not sure if it's exactly named. But there, right there on the campgrounds is where we're going to be next. They're kind of where it's dammed up on the eastern side. There's 270. Wister State Park and Ward's Landing Road is where the hail is headed right in. How we're going to be getting some of that hail in Heavener, Petros, Reacher, Independence, Conser, Hodgen. Just kind of traveling along 271 south, on 59 south, right into the heart of Leflore County. I'll do this over the past 15 minutes. So there, what the moving part shows you is the current hail core, and then behind it, you can see painted just on the radar with all the other hailstones that have fallen, just kind of giving us a good picture of what has happened so far. There's another storm back off towards the north and west. This one's not producing as large of hail, but we're going to be getting some hail in the Kyoto area. They're kind of on the southern fringes of the reservoir. Cartersville, Iron Bridge, we're looking out for this storm. That will eventually come back towards Milton and Bikoshi, where we just had some of that hail pop up for us. I'll take you live outside again in Springdale, where you're looking towards, you're looking back towards the west, towards that new cell that's continuing to grow. You see how it's kind of meandering back off. Very eerie looking clouds as you look in Leflore County. Of course, you can't see Kavanaugh anymore. But look, you got that kind of red glow there as we get closer to sunset. We still have 2 hours till sunset even comes. But you got that orange glow there as you look just south of the hill. You're kind of looking towards Howe and Heavener and Hodgen. They're in central Leflore County. Let's go ahead and time this hail core out as it continues to press south. Once again, about 30 miles per hour towards the south. Put back up the hail sizes as well. Let me time this out. Takes me just a second. There we go. All right, as this moves out, it'll be Howe and 617. So right now we're getting it already in Howe, just on the north side of town. Heavener 627, and then Zoe 642, and Haw Creek 648. Expand just a little bit more. Big Cedar eventually towards 7 o'clock. There in southern Leflore County. But this storm is rotating, but not nearly as much. It's a little bit broader now. That's some good news, but there still has been some rotation, and could it try to spin back up? It certainly could. And then, of course, we have another storm back off towards the north and west. Take the tricks off again. This one coming into Keota, and this storm specifically is moving about 30 miles per hour towards the south and east. So let's time this cell out. We'll see how it does as it interacts with the storm back towards the south and east, if there's still energy left for it to tap into. But Keota right now, and then Cartersville 630, Milton 636, Pecoshi, we could get another round here, about 639. We just had some large hail push through. New severe thunderstorm warning, at least it's just being trimmed. The north side of Poteau, anywhere north of downtown and the hospital, you are now clear. Just north of the Warts factory there on the east side of town. It still includes the Robert Kerr Airport. South towards Buds there and Carl Albert, you guys are still under that warning. And then right over the county fairgrounds is where we're getting that hail, just south of that Ford dealership on 59, coming into Smacker and Yerby, headed right towards Wister is where that hail is. This is going to continue to move a little bit south and east. I'll get an update from National Weather Service on this one. Till 6:45, 30 miles per hour, still up to 2-inch size hail. And if I take off the, let's see, if I take off the warning, get more estimates on the latest scan of this hail. Most of this is starting to move off Kavanaugh Hill, but we still have up to 2-inch size hail continuing to fall right towards Wister and the south side of Poteau. That core is starting to slide off the towers there on the top of the hill. Let me expand back. Yeah, we got another storm coming in from the north and west. Let me show you what it looks like outside with that camera too. When you're looking directly towards the west, I mean, you're looking past the Sam's Club right there along 412 into Tawny Town and Salem Springs. Another supercell thunderstorm is likely to pop up. I'll show you what it looks like right now on radar. Let's go north. There's that cell. It's trying to get going. Got a couple new lightning strikes popping up with this too. It's right over Watts, Chance, and Westville, Cincinnati. We're getting this storm. Get the hail tracker on this. Let's see if it's producing hail yet. Maybe up to pea-sized hail coming into Chance. This is not severe warned yet. If it continues to grow up and eventually produces some hail, we've got cooler air starting to move in slowly over time. And so that may help to produce even more hail coming up. But this thing is tracking, I'm going to go ahead and estimate about 30 miles per hour. But this storm's coming right towards us in Westville, where we already had hail too earlier today. But Westville 638, eventually crossing into Washington County. So far, the track would probably keep it. Let me back up. If this continues on its southeast journey, we should keep this south of Fayetteville, south of Baumwalker, south of Razorback Stadium. Lincoln, Morrow, Evansville, we could try to get this storm. Now Lincoln would be about 635, 644 in Morrow, 650 in Evansville, and just after 7 o'clock in Blackburn. This is coming towards us again. But this should stay away from Benton County. There's another boundary that's popping up here, kind of along Highway 412. Right in here. Earlier we had a boundary that produced this line of storms. Let me move that up a little bit north. So what's going on is we have several areas where the air is coming together to produce these boundaries to help produce storms. And tomorrow's going to be a lot better. I meant to pull up this graphic. This shows our temperatures. You guys see that there on, let me pause this. We've got some more of that convergence right there, that boundary that's forming, helping to produce more storms from Stillwell and Westville back west towards Tulsa, right there along Highway 412. And then we still, of course, have this boundary that's producing more storms for us in Leflore, and another one coming into Haskell County. That one has a little bit smaller hail. And then back towards the west, eventually Lake Eufaula and McAllister, we'll be getting some more of these storms. Storms love to fire off these boundaries where the air comes together And it's a great breeding ground for these storms. Back to, let's do a wide view. Let's talk about what's going on kind of area wide. Benton County, we're watching this storm towards Silent Springs, but this one's moving away from us. Probably won't have to worry about this storm. And then as you head into Washington County, mainly west of Fayetteville, anywhere from Lincoln south to Morrow, we could be watching the storm that's coming in. Right now it's forming near Silent Springs. We'll see if it can keep going. You know, it's produced a pretty good cell. It's kind of held its own for the past about 5-8 minutes or so. We'll see if it tries to beef up any more. Storm in Poteau looks like it's slowly getting a little bit smaller. Still a good hail pocket on it, though, and a lot of lightning. I can go ahead and let's measure some of that lightning again. Let's say about 15 minutes ago, we had 200 lightning strikes, so we have still about the same. So still a lot of lightning, but the size of the storm has slowly reduced a little bit. We've got another cell about the same size back towards the north and west, there towards Keota. Take the tracks off. And the warning. This storm producing just about, well, 1.5 inch sized hail, you know, close to ping pong ball sized hail. There, we got it out. And then the storm in Poteau is leaving Poteau now. Wister and Heebner is coming right at us. The hail pocket on this one still probably close to 2 inches or so, or just under. Yeah, so we're talking about golf ball sized hail for us on the south side of Kavanaugh Hill. Most of it's now leaving the hill and headed in right there along 270, crossing 270. New scan coming in. Still a healthy hail pocket there. Just under 2 inch sized hail. I'll show you guys what it looks like outside. Kind of just a huge rain curtain. You see that storm now pretty much off the slopes of Kavanaugh. So this is a wide view. See the leftover humidity and clouds that we had just after that storm brushed on through. But there's the hill starting to reemerge there in Leflore County. So we're wrapping things up for us in Poteau, but this is coming right in towards Heebner and Hodgen and Howe in central Leflore County. You guys see these little clouds floating there? It's kind of leftover clouds. Looks kind of cool, isn't it? But we're trying to dry out now after that hail. The biggest hail was there in Pocoshi and then just west of 59. You guys, just between Pocoshi and right there towards Brent, we've been getting some of that larger hail. Most of the hail was right dead center on the hill and the western slopes of the hill, but we do have some of that hail that hit us in Poteau. But the largest hail is just outside of you guys. If you guys have some reports, go ahead and let me know what you guys are seeing. I'm going to try to pull up some of your guys' comments too. Let me know what you guys have seen, what you guys got going on. Let's see, is this still streaming? Okay, it is still streaming. All right, let's bring up your guys' comments. Question in from Alicia. Are we going to get anything here on the south side of Fort Smith? Well, one thing to watch will be this kind of last boundary that's formed. Some of these cells up north, looks like even more trying to pop up in between. See those lakes in green country? If these storms towards the north can continue to hold themselves, they could try to target us in Fort Smith. Fort Smith, we kind of got dodged, right? We had that storm in Pecola and Spiro and Salisaw, and then we had a storm just on our east side, more towards Van Buren and Alma. Alma, we had some large hail earlier. But these storms back off towards the north or what we're going to have to watch is that new boundary of showers and storms continues to fire up. So far, it's got probably some pea-sized hail. Haven't noticed a huge uptick. If we can keep it at that status, we'd be fine. There's a loop. You see some of that gray color shows you the pea-sized hail that we have coming into Chance, and then along 59 Westville, we would be next. The hail continues to really hit us there, right in Leflore County. Severe thunderstorm warning continues till 6:45. Let me pull up National Weather Service chat. We've got it's called a special weather statement coming in for the storm near Silent Springs. They're in western Washington County, southwestern Benton County, and then Adair County with that new cell that's popping up. So we'll watch that. Let's see. Severe thunderstorm warning has been trimmed a little bit back towards the north on our first cell. So let's go ahead and do a wide view, and I'll show you all these hail pockets that we have at the moment. Large hail, mainly in Oklahoma. The one cell that we have towards Adair County, the new scan kind of weakens it. You see how it kind of disappears there for a second. It's trying to get going. We'll see if it can continue to try to grow up over time. I'll take a look at that storm as well. Let me pull. There's a live look in Springdale looking back towards the west. There's still a lot of extra clouds in the way, but you're looking at that storm directly westbound. Special weather statement for us with mainly about 40-mile-per-hour winds, and there could be some hail that tries to form at any time. Looks like that severe thunderstorm warning for Leflore and Sequoia. We've got now 1.25 inch sized hail, so they're just under ping pong ball sized hail we've got coming in from the north and west. Severe thunderstorm watch continues for us. Let's click around on that too. Severe thunderstorm watch for Washington County, Franklin County, Crawford County, and Adair County, and continues until 10 o'clock tonight. The watch back towards the south for Sequoia, Latimer, Haskell, Leflore, that also continues until 10. Let's see. And then for Scott County, that continues until 9 o'clock. We've kind of really worked the atmosphere in Arkansas. Most of those storms that we had have blown on through Little Rock now, and they're looking like they're pressing over the Mississippi River there, just past Pine Bluff. But we haven't touched a lot in the atmosphere for eastern Oklahoma, and so that's why we're starting to see these storms try to fire up a little bit too. Looks like they're trimming the warning there, coming into Keota. And they're on the south side of Poteau, watching that. Bring up that camera from Poteau too. See the leftover clouds after that storm blew through. That was a big one for us. They're right over Wister State Park and Lake Wister. That's where you're looking at that dark sky. You can't really see much because there's just all this rain and hail that continues to fall there in central Leflore. But it's wrapped up pretty much for us in Kavanaugh. Towers are still intact. It's crazy how far you can see this camera. See all those towers? They look like they're intact. Looking towards Pirate Country. This is a wide view. So that cell there on the left-hand side of your screen, that's the storm that's hitting us in Howe and Hodgen and Heebner with hail. But you look back towards the north, that next cell that's hitting us in Bakoshi and Keota, that's coming in kind of right on its heels. So another storm could try to brush by us here soon. I'll show you what the radar looks like currently with those storms. Looks like they're trimming the warning again. So we've got two storms for us in Leflore. Got the one that just brushed through Poteau. Now it's pretty much away from Lake Wister. This thing is coming right into Heebner now. They're right along 59. See that hail pocket? Let's look at some of that hail. Nobles Road, Stagecoach Road, Robb Road, Industrial Road, Independence Road. There's Independence as you head off of 59, you turn right. You head on West Avenue, and then you eventually turn into Independence Road is where we're getting some of that hail now too. These hail sizes reporting around, take off the warning, just under 2 inch, right about golf ball sized hail still coming down. This one's a good hailer for us. They're on the west side of Howe and Heebner. Glendale, we're getting it too. There's the lake. Most of the hail has been right over the campground portion of the lake. You head back towards the western shores, we get some rain, but you know, they're closer to Summerfield. It's just kind of rain for us, maybe some pea-sized hail, but most of the hail is back on the eastern end of Lake Wister, right over that island where you got the campgrounds. They're off 270, and then 270 kind of wraps back as you're heading south, kind of back towards the left as you, and the east if you head towards Heebner. Forest Hill coming in for us too. And then another pocket of hail there in Keota. This is still Haskell County, but another round of hail could be coming towards Milton and Dog Creek and Latham, Calhoun. We'll be on look for this one. This should stay west of Poteau, this next one. But Cartersville, 633, pretty much now. McCurtain, 637. We could get skimmed by some hail. Latham, 647. Calhoun, 654. And Kennedy, 703. It's just 30 minutes from now. But the storm in Leflore has, looks like it's weakened just a bit. Still producing severe hail, though, for us. Look back at the hailstones coming into Adair County. This is the storm that we've been watching, too. See that? So there's the storm. We've got some more pop-ups. These are mainly, at this time, just good downpours for us, right over Salem Springs. I'll bring back the camera there. Let's take a look at this. You're looking live in Springdale, and you're looking west towards that cell in Siloam Springs and Westville and Stillwell. Just reading off camera real quick. National Weather Service continuing that severe thunderstorm warning for central Leflore. No longer does it include Poteau. Poteau, we're now completely out of this warning. It now just includes Heavener, just south of Monroe, south of Cameron, right into Howe and Hodgen and Heavener is where we got this storm coming in. But man, what a crazy day. We've been rocked by several rounds for storms. And with that little bit of that sunlight that's trying to pop in after some of these storms, you know, some of us just have gray skies. For a lot of us in Arkansas, we're struggling now because we've got just so many clouds that we're trying to break through. I'm doing a quick just 362 but there in parts of Benton County, we've been getting a few more breaks in the clouds. You can see some of that blue sky. Let me put it up a little bit. See some of that blue right there? The black is kind of where the camera ends. It really only goes 360 in one way. But then looking back towards Siloam Springs, where you got that sun ray, and then just left of that sun ray is where you have that heavy rain that's starting to fall, but a good downpour for us. A live look back in Bacola towards Kavanaugh Hill. See Kavanaugh there on the left. But two storms for us. One hitting Howe and Hodgen. Great view of those. See some modest clouds there on the backside of the storm. You see how that kind of bubbles there on the top part of your screen. But then another storm coming in from Keota. Looks like they're trimming that storm too. These cells are getting a little bit smaller. They are showing some signs of weakening. I'm going to go ahead and let's look at some of this hail. We'll do an analysis of where we try to see inside the storm now. What you're looking at is an inside view. What's actually going on? It's almost like taking a cake and cutting it up and seeing how many layers they are and what's, you know, what they fill it with, right? But right now we continue to have that hail threat because the red color, that 50 dBz, shows you where hail is potentially going to be. Once you get that rain and any kind of stuff up higher into the atmosphere, those crystals, so once you get it cold enough, it'll produce that hail, and we still got a decent hail pocket over us, still bringing that quarter-sized hail, at least, into Heavener. And how you can see right at the beginning how it's higher up in the atmosphere, and then it drops. It's not a very big storm, though. It really has reduced its size. Even more. Looks like we got even more coming up. This is kind of expanding. I'm going to take you to a wide view. I'm going to save this. All right, back towards the north and west. Right along these boundaries. We have a boundary towards the south for the Poteau storm. Another boundary about here. I can show you the temperatures in a minute, and it has the wind flows on it. You can see exactly where that boundary is, that convergence. But we've got this good little cell coming into Westville. New severe thunderstorm warning. There we go, new severe thunderstorm warning for us in eastern Adair County. Also one back towards the west for Tulsa County. But southwestern Washington County, eastern Adair County, and now northwestern Crawford County, and also northeastern Sequoia County. New severe thunderstorm warning being activated by the National Weather Service. Starting to finally grow a little bit. It was taking its time at first. It blew up and then kind of stayed stable. But with this storm coming in, we could have up to about quarter-sized hail. And wind speeds up to, actually we don't have much wind with this one. There are probably some breezy conditions, maybe 40, maybe even up to 50 mile per hour winds, but mostly this is a hail threat. So let's bring up the hail once again. It's got a little bit bigger. This is mainly pea-sized hail at the moment, but at any time it could start to grow and eventually drop some quarter-sized hail for us. But the track on this storm with that hail puts it into, oops, move this around a bit. Peavine at 643, Morrow 657, and 7 o'clock coming up for Evansville, 725 for Natural Dam. So we'll have to watch this one, Natural Dam. We already had that large hail earlier today, and we could be getting some more of that hail soon too. If I loop it, you can see what we've done so far with our hail. Latest scan increases that hail. See that? How it's starting to get a little bit more intense. Instead of just having a gray color, you start to see more of those lighter grays and eventually towards white. And if we get towards the blue and pink colors, you really have some large hail. I'll pause this. There we go. They're crossing 59 between Westville and Peavine. We've got just under quarter-sized hail. The storm may continue to increase in its size for us. I'll show you what it looks like outside. Now, this probably isn't the best view of the storm because we're going to have more hail between us and some of these updrafts, but you're looking live there over the Sam's Club, and back there off in the distance is where this storm will be, you know, a good 40 miles west of us in Springdale. But there's that storm off in the distance as you're looking towards eastern Oklahoma and Green Country. We'll go ahead and zoom back out. Just a little bit of that sunlight's trying to help us to fire up more of these storms. There's some of the rain off in the distance too. You can see that kind of darker color as it reaches towards the ground. So you're looking back towards the south and west, there towards Stillwell and Westville with some of that rain. Let me show you a wide view. So a couple different boundaries. Once this actual cold front finally pushes on through, guys, we'll be done tonight. But we've got two boundaries for us at this hour. One coming in right along Highway 412, another line back towards I-40, and these are all pressing south, and they carry these storms south. I'll show you what they look like. I promised to do this earlier, got behind. On this map, you can really see a better view of those, basically those areas of convergence. We're just seeing wind come together, they hit one another, they go up, they produce storms, they're good breeding grounds, but you've got a convergence zone there. You see how the wind flows, they just meet there. And we've got another kind of round back towards the west. So along these lines, this is what's helping spark those storms. But notice how back east towards Johnson County and Logan County and even Carroll County, we're really not getting very much in terms of these convergence zones. And so that's why we're not seeing anything really pop up for us. Notice how the temperatures are a lot cooler in Arkansas. You look at the right-hand side of your screen, you've got, you know, the yellows and even a lot of green there showing you 70s and 60s. But then back west in Oklahoma, you see some more of those patches of the red color showing you more from the 70s and the 80s and maybe even close to 90 degrees, especially south of Lake Eufaula. So we still have to watch these little areas that we'll try to fire up. Well, once again, this storm is coming into the mountains for Stillwell, Westville, and Morrow. It's crossing 62 right now, coming into Lincoln and Summers, Arkansas, Cincinnati. We've gotten some of that wind and hail too. And then, man, this storm's it's a little smaller in size, but it's really packing its punch there in Huebner. I'm going to pause this and we'll get the latest on some of its lightning strikes. About the same. I think earlier was 220. We've got some broad rotation with this. A lot of this, I think, is, bring this up. It's got good downdrafts, just really pushing the air. Check this out. Looks like a massive rotation. There could be some rotation in this storm too, but what you're seeing is the wind coming down and all that heavy rain and lightning and hail just come down and it just pushes out like that. So you kind of have this more kind of a bomb effect with wind. The green showing you that wind that's flowing northeast, and the red color showing you wind that's going southwest, so they're just kind of separating like this. It's very gusty for us in Huebner, but this is going to be headed deep into the Ouachitas here very, very shortly. And then another cell back off towards the north and west. We'll take a look at some of these hail pockets too. I'll take off the previous tracks. The hail is weakened a little bit for us in Kyoto. It's also starting to come down in Huebner. Remember earlier we had the pinks and purples? Let's get you an estimate on some of the hail sizes now. They were up to about 2-inch size hail earlier. But now we've got hail sizes just over 1/4 inch for us in Huebner. Still some damaging hail. You can still start to do some damage with quarter-sized hail. Once you get closer to ping pong and golf ball sized hail, the threat for damage really starts to go up. Seems like we've had a lot of hail today. And then just under a quarter-sized hail cores coming in for, they're in Haskell County coming into northern Leflore. Hail starting to come up a little bit for us in that 8-air storm. You see that right along 59 there from Barron, north and east towards Westville. We've got more of that hail coming in too. Gotta turn off that again. We've got quarter-sized hail. Look how quickly it's grown. We've got up to about 1.5 size hail, So we're now approaching, ping pong ball sized hail now coming into eastern Adair County. They're just off of 59, headed south and east. That is in Adair County. As this storm continues to weaken over time, what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick break. We've got to do a couple things as we prepare for our 10 o'clock newscast. We got a couple things together, but we'll be on live throughout this evening as needed with some more of these storms coming up. If you are on Channel 5 also itself, we've got, it's called a weather ticker, weather crawl there. It's continued to give us more latest information as new warnings come out. It shows you a map of the warnings, and then I think after about 8 seconds, it goes ahead and transitions back to radar, loops a couple times. You can always see that on Channel 5, but we'll be back here in a little bit talking more about these storms. But we are noticing some weakening in the Leflore County storms. Man, we had a lot of hail. That track, look at that. Look at all that hail that we had right there from Gore, just west of Vian and to Keota, and then even larger hail hitting us in Bekoshi, south and east, right over Kavanaugh Hill. Most of it just trying to stay away from Panama and Shady Point. We got a little bit of hail there, and a little bit of hail in Poteau, but once you head right over the hill got hit hard, a direct hit with that hail, and coming into Wister and Glendale, Heavener, Hodgen, we have some of that hail. But now this is headed towards Hall Creek, Page, Zoe, Black Fork per year. That'll be crossing the lower Hall Creek, the lower Hall Creek and Black Fork here in about 30-40 minutes if it continues to keep its strength. And of course, we got to keep our eye out on this strengthening storm in Adair County. Once it crosses more into Washington County, we'll continue to watch and track this storm. This one may come into Fort Smith here shortly. Fort Smith, we've been one of the quietest spots so far today. We've had storms right on our doorstep towards our east and then right on our back door there towards Pecola and Poteau. So it's been an active day, a severe day. More severe thunderstorm warnings will continue to be activated and issued by the National Weather Service. Real quick, I think there's a new warning. Yeah, new warning for the rest of southeastern Leflore County. I'll get you the latest on this, and then we're going to take a quick moment. This one goes until 7:30. The storm is moving just a touch slower at 25 miles per hour with 60 mile per hour wind gusts and half-dollar sized hails. A little bit smaller with the hail. But there towards Heavener, the Heavener Runestone State Park there, and Hodgen were included in this storm for that hail threat, as well as Page, Hall Creek, and then back towards the west, towards Zoe. Make sure you keep it here, keep it local, and as always, we're going to keep you advised.